What's good, family? I'm recording this real quick, so it's not going to be overly extensive because it's not too big of a topic. I had a buddy message me the other day asking if I feel guilty about talking about stocks and watching people enter the market right before it's about to crash, and that got me a little bit gassed. So stick around past the intro because that's what this episode is basically about. You're watching Sekitor, and this one is for the bears. Now before we dig in, I just want to remind you that this channel is meant for general education purposes only and isn't meant to replace the legal or financial advice from a paid professional. When it comes to investments, it's always healthy to take everything with a fair bit of skepticism regardless of the source, and that includes us. How else are you supposed to figure out whether or not you believe something or whether or not something is right for you? That being said, no mention of any stock or asset on this channel should be taken as financial advice since we can't know what kind of security best suits your needs and your goals. We'd love it if you could like this video and subscribe to the channel and stick with us as we explore ways to figure out whether or not a given asset is right for you. For everyone who's been with us for time, mad love, y'all. Alright, let's get to it. Now, if you don't already know, in investing there's a popular dichotomy that gets brought up much more than I personally believe necessary, that being between the bulls and the bears. The bulls, on the one hand, believe that the market will continue to go up and will continue our prolonged market boom. That's why such booms are usually called bull runs. Bears, on the other hand, believe that the market is in a dangerous place and we're about to see a crash. That's why when the market sentiment is negative, it's called being bearish. Now, these terms can apply to the market, sectors of the market, or individual stocks, but in the case of my buddy, he's talking about the whole damn thing. See, dude is bearish about the housing, stock, and credit markets due to what's being often referred to as the everything bubble. This is something that I encourage you to look up for yourself because I'm personally of the opinion that the everything bubble is a real thing. However, I think my brother is a little bit misguided. Now, I could totally make this episode about me and recreate the conversation that we had with all the points and counterpoints, but that's not very interesting. What is interesting is how it ended because it may apply to your situation. I basically challenged Homeboy to a pseudo waiver, and this brings up today's real topic, the reverse or inverse index. Now, I've mentioned this kind of asset a bunch of times before, but only ever in passing. Now that we've seen a somewhat sideways market for an entire quarter following a brief market correction, I'm sure there are people out there wondering if the crash that Michael Burry and Ray Dalio and those types of guys have been predicting will come to fruition in the near future. For that reason, let's get into it. Now, an inverse or reverse index is a bearish asset that increases in value as the market drops through the use of futures contracts like puts and shorts. In most cases, due to the underlying asset nature as futures, these reverse indexes will be leveraged to pay out a multiple of the amount earned based on the market pullback. So if the market drops 5% and you're in a Hyundai inverse index, it would pay out 15%. And this here illuminates the offer that I made to my friend. Because if he's even 75% sure that the market is about to crash, the most prudent thing that he could do with his money would be to put the lion's share of it into a reverse index. And that was my offer. But here's the catch with reverse indexes. While what we know about market cycles dictates that there is likely to be a coming crash in the future, and while many of the warning signals are indicating that we're somewhere in the area code of Take Notice Boulevard, there is always a chance that it's way too early and the market will continue to grow while the value of our inverse funds is eaten away by the leverage nature of the funds and their fees. Also, since there is no limit on how large a market can get, there is always the possibility of your investment going to zero. I mean, I guess there's always the possibility of that happening anyways, but in any case, there's always the classic John Maynard Keynes quote to fall back on: the market can remain irrational longer than you can remain solvent. But this is not to say that there is no use for something like a reverse index. In fact, for a lot of retail and institutional investors, reverse indexes can be a great way to hedge some of their bets. This is particularly relevant for people who are in it for the long term because market downturns in the interim can last anywhere between a few months and a few years. For investors in the market with a much longer investment horizon, it can be helpful to profit from a reverse index during market downturns, sell those stakes for a profit while the market is low, and use that money to buy into the stocks or ETFs that they expect to hold beyond the dip for a discount. Having a hedge like this is great in such ideal situations, but it also comes with the opportunity cost of dwindling away while the getting is good. But that's kind of the thing of insurance though, no? You pay in case something happens, and if it doesn't, well, tough luck. Now, how can you go about finding inverse or reverse indexes? Well, the best way that I can think of would be to pull up Naver and search the term inboss, which will bring up a bunch of inverse ETFs that you can buy. Now, some brokerages need you to have a leverage eligible account to buy any of the leveraged inverse indices, but for those of you who A, don't want to have to do that, or B, don't have an investing account yet, you can just click on this little adjacent tab labeled Pund and find the mutual funds available to you through your regular online bank app. As for my friend, I'm pretty sure he hasn't put money in either direction, as is his right, but if you're with him on the bearish side and you think the market is going to tank in the near future, there are certainly ways for you to put your money where your mouth is. Alright, I said I would keep it short, so there it is, and that's it for me. If you ever have anyone telling you it's a bad time to get into stocks, that implies that for them, the opposite, that is a great time to bet against the market, must be true. I do believe, however, that one thing you'll find in these situations is that people that are negative about the market tend to be shy of doing anything with their money at all, and we already know from the past 150 years of large-scale market capitalism that, in such a system, sitting on your hands just keeps your hands preoccupied with absolutely nothing. Alright, it's hot out fam, do yourself a favor and drink some water. Much love family, take it easy.